One of the most misinformation-based topics within health and fitness is cooking oils, surprisingly. You literally have the Health Association saying you should cook with canola oil. You have these cringe-lord scammers saying MCT oil, like V-Shred. Stop it.
MCT oil.
A lot of this comes down to fat type, and I'll explain. So basically, you may have seen like poly or monounsaturated fats or saturated fats on labels of foods, and this is a reference to the chemistry. So basically, saturated fats mean they're saturated with hydrogen. Unsaturated fats mean they can fit more hydrogen because they have double bonds, and if these break, they can fit in more hydrogen. These bonds will become relevant later, but basically saturated is generally a little bit less healthy. You'll find some carnivore bros saying otherwise. You can kind of make an argument for saturated or unsaturated if you cherry pick studies, but my stance is unsaturated is a bit better. But this aside, I'm more concerned with what you're getting with the fat as far as, anti-inflammatory potential or micronutrient content. To me, these are a bit more important. And apologies if I'm speaking a bit weird. I have a massive cut on my tongue. I was on a date with a lovely elderly lady and she had a pit viper, and I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, saying a cooking oil is healthy and good to cook with just because it's unsaturated is such a lazy argument. It doesn't take into account the fact that you're actually cooking it. Okay, we'll get into that. But basically, I find most nutritionists are just terrible. I think it comes down to the education system. Most of the professors don't know what they're talking about, so then the students therefore don't really learn anything, but they go out into the world with a degree and think they know everything because they have a degree, but they don't know anything. And I can say this because I do have a master's degree in nutrition, but most of my knowledge base is from independent research. So I can say with confidence that just because someone has a degree, doesn't mean they know what they're talking about, okay? Anyway, what are we doing here? Cooking oils. Dude, I'm so cooked, I don't even need oil. So let's cover seed oils. These are generally polyunsaturated fats, which means they have multiple double bonds. And the issue here is these bonds can be a bit unstable. When you heat them up, they break, they release this crazy cascade of reactions which produce these free radicals. And these free radicals are like the crux of inflammation, okay? They are very reactive. They'll react with anything, your cells, your neurons. So if you're completely loaded with free radicals that you're eating from heating up these seed oils, such as deep frying foods, which is why I'm really against deep frying foods, because, most restaurant joints are going to use canola oil or sunflower oil because they're cheaper. No one's deep frying things in olive oil, okay? But also they have, alongside of these free radicals, which will damage your your cognition and your cells, your overall health because they're so reactive, they also are generally quite high in omega-6. And omega-6 is essential, okay? But the thing is, nowadays we get way too much omega-6 because it's just in a lot of foods, a lot of processed foods. Omega-3 counters this a little bit. Basically, omega-3 and omega-6 compete for the same enzyme. They cause these to form into eicosanoids, which are the metabolites of these omega oils, but the omega-6 form of the eicosanoids can be quite pro-inflammatory, and because we get too much omega-6, we have a lot more inflammation because of this. Okay, so we want more omega-3, but mostly seed oils have too much omega-6, okay? However, one big outlier here is flaxseed oil. If you get like a cold pressed flaxseed oil, that means it hasn't been heated up in the processing, causing more free radicals, and you don't cook with it, it's actually really high in omega-3, which will help with inflammation. But again, don't cook with it, so it's not a good cooking oil, because we're talking about things you can use to cook, right? Vegetable oils kind of go in the same boat with seed oils. Some vegetable oils are labeled as vegetable, but they're really just seed oils, because they're technically from the vegetable, just the seed of the vegetable. I think it's just kind of a marketing scheme just because seed oils are starting to get a bit of a bad reputation now, so it's like, oh no, it's vegetable oils, guys, not seed oils. If you are enjoying, please be sure to drop a like and consider subscribing. It's free, helps me out, and I'd love to have you on board. Now on to some of these bitter oils, so monounsaturated. You can make the argument that polyunsaturated is a little bit better, but these monounsaturated, they only have one double bond and they're a bit more stable. Quite a bit more stable, actually. They won't produce nearly as many free radicals when you heat them up. So things we got here like avocado oil and olive oil are some of the best two options. I use olive oil mostly. And I'll come back to these, but basically I wanted to touch on some of the saturated fat oils quickly. So there's butter. Okay, saturated fat oils, again, no double bonds, saturated with hydrogen. They're solid at room temperature. Okay, so butter, coconut oil, they're solid at room temperatures. But basically butter is saturated fat, again, it's not necessarily good for you, but it won't produce these free radicals. It's not really got anything for micronutrients or anti-inflammatory potential, so it's not adding much. Coconut oil is actually a little bit better. Yes, it is technically saturated fat, but it's like a medium chain triglyceride based oil, which is a little bit better in your body. It'll have a similar effect on health with unsaturated fats as far as managing blood lipids properly. And I said MCT oil, which is medium chain triglycerides, and I'm saying those are good, but MCT oil extract coincidentally is less stable, so it'll produce more free radicals than regular coconut oil, as well. You're missing out on some of the antioxidants or anti-inflammatory compounds that regular coconut oil will have. So go for coconut oil, not the MCT oil, okay? So now that I've explained everything, what's actually the way to go? How are you gonna cook your food? So avocado, coconut, and olive oil, I would say are my top 3. If you wanna go even further, you can go extra virgin olive oil. Now, these will generally have more flavonoids and vitamin E, which are both helpful for countering inflammation, give you those sweet health gains in cognition to protect your neurons and your overall cells. Just good stuff. But the issue is, depending on the brand, you don't really know how many of these, particularly flavonoids, because these are a bit more fragile, but vitamin E as well. We don't know how much of these make it through the processing. They can be broken down, and you know, there might not be that many of them in the final product, which is annoying because you're usually paying a little bit more for extra virgin olive oil, but anything that's cold pressed and in a darker bottle is going to be your best bet. But anyway, regular olive oil is also fine. Avocado I'd probably put in my second place. It's also quite good as far as a ratio between omega-3 and omega-6. Nice omega-3 content. It's generally harder to get omega-3s, as I said before. Coconut oil, third place. It's fine. It's decent. Good choice. But yeah, olive oil, avocado oil, probably my best 2 bets. I do want to mention smoke point as well. Now, I've never smoked in oil, even though olive oil, which is what I use, is generally a lower smoke point. I've never run into that on the stovetop. You probably won't either. But that being said, if you are running like a crazy barbecue setup, that you're ramping it up to crazy temperatures, avocado oil actually has a really resilient smoke point. It's really high. Of course, you don't want to smoke an oil for taste and also the carcinogens. So I'd go olive oil usually, unless you're, you know, repping something crazy. You Australians on the barbie, go for the avocado oil. But that kind of wraps it up. Don't cook with seed oils or vegetable oils, despite what the Heart Association is trying to tell you. It's just outrageous that they don't know what they're talking about. Like, who is in charge here? I gotta slow down. But yeah, avoid those. You can top a salad or dress it with some flaxseed oil. That's fine. But yeah, those 3 I mentioned before: coconut, avocado, extra virgin olive oil, or just regular olive oil. Way to go. So let me know down below what you cook with. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, there's some more videos there, but I will see you next time.